We are Baltimore. We are NC.
Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports in Outdoors. Well, the Royals lost an off day at home, but if you're going to play on an off day, how about the two best teams in baseball? It's the final game of the 2015 I-70 series. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg is coming up. Off days at home this time of year are golden, and yet the Royals are playing better than ever.
They are. All those early off days at the beginning of the season, they couldn't get their timing down, but now they're winning. They're riding that wave of victory and adrenaline. Keep it going.
And everybody is chipping in. Alex Gordon's loss seemed to be huge for the Royals, and yet somebody had to pick up the slack, and lately it's been Jarrod Dyson.
One of the characteristics of a championship caliber team is who can step up, who can fill that void, and so far it's been done. Dyson doing a fantastic job with his skill packet, his arm, his bunting skills, and the big hit he got late. All is chipping in, and how about Moustakas? Moose was loose last night. He's coming through a 3-0 heater. He got it. That was instant 3 runs, and that was a big difference in that game.
In April, the Royals had a great year going offensively. Then there was a bit of a lull in May and June, and some thought the Royals were playing beyond their means in April. Now our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard in the month of July. These are major league rankings. Only 2 other teams have scored more runs per game in the major leagues than the Royals.
They are definitely showing it, but you have to execute, and they're doing it. They got star players everywhere before your eyes. I love the runs per game. 5.47. Heck, they can get that job done easily.
And on the mound tonight for the Royals is Chris Youngs. 2 things you need to know about Chris Young. Number 1, he's pitched very well on the road. And number 2, he has pitched extremely well against the National League. And Joel will discuss more about that right after this.
Battle of baseball's two best teams. St. Louis has the best record in the majors. The Royals second best and best in the American League, and a huge lead right now in the American League Central. Now it's 7 games on the season. Joel Goldberg down by the Royals dugout as they are rocking the powder blues, and they will look for a good, consistent pitching performance from the veteran Chris Young. It's a matchup of 36-year-old righties, both of whom are 8-5 on the year with similar ERAs, and our Honda most trusted player of the game is Chris Young, and for a couple of reasons. First of all, Chris Young against the National League this year has been excellent. 6 shutout innings against the Cardinals back in May at Kauffman Stadium, and then up in Milwaukee June 16th. 7 shutout innings and had a no-hitter going for quite a while in that one. He also is a road warrior. Look at these numbers away from Kauffman Stadium. You would think Kauffman would be perfect for him, but for whatever reason, he's been excellent on the road. 4-1 with a 1.73 ERA, a minuscule whip, and opponents batting just 177 against him. That opponent's batting average is usually very low against Chris. Very tough for opponents to hit up. And we should point out, too, that he is technically the team's leading hitter. Of course, he's only had 3 at-bats. But back in that game at Milwaukee, Chris Young, who said he didn't even pick up a bat to practice, figured it would do him more harm or lead to injury, went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Most RBIs by a Royals pitcher since back in the early 70s. More coming up from St. Louis after this. Yep, Ozzie Smith was doing the flips. The Royals, though, were winning the World Series. Did it in 7 games and finally got back to the World Series last year after 29 years, and they are flashing back to 1985. Love the jerseys. 5 minutes and 15 seconds until the 2015 Cardinals and Royals play for the final time, at least in this regular season. Who knows? Maybe they'll meet up again in the World Series. And one of the reasons the Royals were so successful last year was the way Ned Yost was able to manage the bullpen and make sure they weren't overworked. Now, the rotation hasn't gone as deep this year, but Ned Yost has had more weapons out of that bullpen to spread out those innings. But it's been a challenge lately for a couple of reasons. They came out of the All-Star break, had that doubleheader last Friday in Chicago, then a 13-inning game the next day, and then the injury to Jason Vargas on Tuesday. But Danny Duffy really shouldered the load on Sunday, a bullpen that had very few guys, really only a couple available, and Duffy went 8 innings. That was huge. And then last night, again a tired bullpen because remember, Jason Vargas got hurt, only went 1 1/3 innings. Edinson Volquez, 7 2/3 innings. This was huge for Ned Yost as he tries to manage that bullpen.
When your bullpen's as good as it is, you just don't want to take any chances, you know. So, you know, we ended up using Wade, we ended up using Matson, but to be able to go deep into the game where you only have to use 2 guys a day instead of 4 guys a day helps a lot.
Well, managing that bullpen is so important. It's why the Royals need that rotation to be able to go deeper into games. They got that from Duffy. They got that from Volquez. They'll hope to do the same again with Young. And then let's not discount the contributions of Ryan Madsen, Luke Hochevar rounding into form. Franklin Morales has been great for them. And now Chris Medlin in that mix. So that has really given Ned Yost a lot of weapons. I-70 series, the 6th and final regular season game between the Royals and the Cardinals, the 2 best teams in baseball. First pitch from Busch Stadium coming up next.
You play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your Kansas City area Chevy dealer for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Inside Busch Stadium for a previously unscheduled game. This is a makeup of a rainout back in the middle of June. And the 2 teams, as Joel pointed out, we're going to honor the 1985 World Series teams. So the Royals have the true throwback powder blues, both the jersey and the pant legs. Chris Young will hit as we use the National League Royals. And as we showed you a few segments ago, the Royals have been doing plenty of hitting in the month of July. 3rd in Major League Baseball in runs scored. And tonight they're going to face a veteran, John Lackey, who has pitched very well this year, and especially over his last 7 starts. He has 7 straight quality starts.
He's a horse, and he's had a wonderful, outstanding career. No question. 2-time World Series champion. Got good Good fastball still. He'll average 91. We'll see some 93s out of his arm. Slider, cutter, curve, and a changeup. He's a workhorse.
Look at the Cardinals defensively. They are 9th in Major League Baseball with 12 defensive runs saved. The Royals still lead the major leagues in that department.
Yep, and Yachty's thrown out 37.1% of runners this year. He is the best.
Having a down year offensively, Yadier Molina. When the Royals were here in the middle of June, he had not hit a home run yet. And still only has 2, but he has those 7 Gold Gloves and 3 Platinum Gloves. Our umpiring crew is the same tonight as we had last night with the Royals and the Pirates. Crew chief Jerry Davis will be at second base with Will Little back of the plate calling balls and strikes. Will Little in his first full season as a major league umpire.
Well, I guarantee you John Lackey knows that Escobar swings at the first pitch. Let's see what he gives him.
Fastball at 91.
I'm not surprised. Lackey backs down from no one. He's a very tough competitor. Raised in the state of Texas. 3-sport star in high school. And he's parlayed that into an outstanding career. Escobar, man, it's nice to see his average and what he's doing at the top. He's getting on base, getting 292. He's stirring things up, getting out there, scoring some runs. The rest of his guys, those averages are all coming up.
3-pitch strikeout for John Lackey, who doesn't strike out hitters like he once did with the Angels.
Nope, but he's got a nice cutter. That one right there finished him off.
And now Mike Moustakas. Last night he turned a 2-1 game into a 5-1 game, and that was the final.
Yep, we were talking about that green light. Was he going to get it or not? And we thought Morton would know he was going to get it. And he threw him a fastball. It wasn't belt high, it was letter high.
And it had some movement to it. I mean, that was not 91 miles an hour and straight right down the middle of the plate. That was, in some ways, that was kind of a wicked pitch.
It was, and it'll just tell you about the focus that Moose has this year. Moose is a different hitter. He's patient. He's selective. He's seeing. I don't know this for sure, but I would bet that he's seeing more pitches than any other guy in the lineup.
Fouled off of third. 2 balls and 1 strike. Moustakas finished that Pirates series with 2 home runs and 5 driven in, batting at .296.
3 for 7 in his career off of Lackey, and they're not playing a drastic pull, but they are playing him 2 pull. See Wong there, he's playing in shallow right, and that's because Lackey and most teams have been pitching Moose inside. Great plate appearance. John Lackey, you know, he's not one to not show his emotions. Even at this stage in his career, that's a good pitch. He wanted that. He's not afraid to bark at an umpire. Here we are in the first inning, and he's already getting a little testy.
This is the second time he pitches against the Royals this year, and back in May, I remember him having trouble with the home plate umpire. And now down and away to Lorenzo Cain. Hit well into right center field. Hayward, a Gold Glove winner, fades back to make the play. 2 down.
Remember, Hayward made that game-saving catch in the sun when the Royals were here last time, and that was a game saver. And so he's dealing with that here early at a 6 o'clock start game. There's going to be some suns. Here it is right here. Watch this now. Most guys miss that, but I tell you, that's just veteran presence. He's done that before. Obviously, just hold your glove up there when you lose it and just hope it lands in it, and that's what it was, a hope and a prayer, and it worked.
2 down to Eric Hosmer, who takes a strike at the knees. Hosmer had 6 hits in the Pirates series. He hit an impressive home run to right field last night and drove in 2.
Hosmer 2 for 9 with a homer off Lackey. Big John will challenge hitters first time through the order with his fastball. He'll see how they read it, how they look on it, and then if they hit it, jump on it, second time through he'll mix up some other pitches. But he's one of those veterans that's going to establish his fastball.
Now Kane had a good swing, but we haven't seen a really good swing outside of that. And the Cardinals were nice enough to reschedule this game at 6, so the Royals aren't getting back deep into the middle of the night. But because of that, Lackey is in the shadows and the backdrop is in the bright sunlight. So just like at Kauffman Stadium for a 6-10 game, it can be a challenge for the hitters in the early innings. Still 1-2.
And you can see it. Obviously these guys are able to make some contact, but the ball does look a little bit dark coming out of that bright hitter's backdrop. It's a little bit dark, but they still could see it. The lights are on here.
Fighting a fastball off, up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. John Lackey's ERA in his last 7 starts is 1.63, and all 7 have been quality starts. The Cardinals are 5-2 in those games. So the Royals facing a pitcher who's on a roll, and Wong. That was a risky throw. He had no chance to get Hosmer, who was on with an infield single.
Good placement, as they had Colton Wong way out there playing him to pull. And Haas, he uses on the whole field. I don't know why defenses around the league and even the National League try to play him to pull, but look where he is. I mean, Wong's way over here. He's an aggressive young player with a lot of energy, good fielding skills, but you're right, he should have put that in his pocket. But he didn't miss the throw. Now we'll see if Salvi can add to his 287 average with runners in scoring position here.
And with the National League rules, the Royals are not at full strength. Kendrys Morales is not in the lineup. But Ned Yost has a pretty good weapon off the bench if he needs it later in the game. So Salvador Perez moves up to 5th. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Salvi 2 for 5 against John. Big bad John.
And a play. Yeah, I brought this up last night. The American League is leading the National League again this year in interleague play, and the American League has really dominated since 1997. And it still just surprises me. And a lot of teams like the Royals have an impact designated hitter. Ned Yost has the American League's leading RBI guy on the bench. So, in theory, that should give the National League an advantage. They know how to play this style of play. The Royals do not use it except for these games, and yet that has not come to fruition in the wins and losses, American League against the National League.
Well, the Royals, they have hitters all up and down that lineup who all year long have been contributing. So that's one of the factors. You got other guys. This is not a one-man wrecking crew.
Not far enough for the runners to advance, and 2-2 on Perez.
You look at the averages with runners in scoring position, all up and down the lineup. They got respectable averages and they're able to do the job. And Yadier, take a little time here to talk to Big John about what they're going to do. And I'm sure that Yachty, and they've already gone over the reports on the Royals. They know that they're an aggressive swinging team, especially Salvador Perez. So but Yachty's probably telling him, hey, let's not give him anything too good. See if he'll swing at one in the dirt here.
Oh, it's outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Rios is on deck. And now the added advantage of the runners going. This has been a Royals strength most of the year. Even when they weren't scoring a lot of runs, they were still clutch with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Still leading the American League. Moustakas and Hosmer run, and Perez fouls it back.
Salvi knew that might have been ball 4, but look, he's not up there to walk. He's up there to drive in runs. Obviously, with just 6 walks and 323 at bats, and he got it.
Moustakas will score. Hosmer will go to third. Salvador Perez comes through. Boy, have the Royals been on a roll lately, scoring in the first inning.
Love to hear the crowd of Royal fans here at Busch Stadium. Now, John Lackey knows that Salvi sometimes will swing at those balls in the dirt, but he's also an excellent bad ball hitter. That pitch was down, and he was able to guide it out there to left field. Moose bringing the mail home for the first run of the game.
And now Alex Rios. Rios has hit in 5 straight games in the middle of the Royals' late inning rallies the last 2 nights against the Pirates. Batting .255 overall, but .385 in his last 11 games.
Rios, he has the most experience against John Lackey. 10 for 30. That's a lot of at-bats. In his last 5 games, you can see he's all over the baseball. Hopefully he can keep the line moving. Pick up another run here.
One and 2. Tonight is the 4th time in the last 6 games where the Royals have scored in the first inning. And once again, a Royal coming through with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Salvador Perez picking up his 40th RBI of the year. And now Rios goes into right center field. 2-0 Royals, and now 2 hits with a runner in scoring position and 2 down.
We've witnessed all year long how these guys feed off of each other in this lineup, and it's doing the same thing. And for this inning, it was Moose's walk. After Escobar struck out in 3 pitches, Moose got on, and that started the frenzy going. Kane hit the ball hard for the 2nd out to right field, and then 3 solid base hits to follow. Taking advantage of a veteran pitcher in the first inning, like we've seen before. Guys trying to get their pitches, figuring out what they're doing with it, and before you know it, 2-0.
Infante scored 2 very important runs in the Pittsburgh series. To Carpenter, he will run to the bag and beats Salvador Perez to end the inning. Royals take advantage of a walk and 3 straight hits for a 2-0 lead. A 2-0 lead, and here are the Cardinals facing him tonight. And now Chris Young making his 15th start. Kia puts us in the driver's seat. A fastball that is 86 to 87 miles per hour. And when the American League or the National League put that ball in play, they hit 216.
It's amazing how they're not able to crack him, and it's a lot because of his deception. He throws underneath the baseball, and he throws balls right at the letters, and that's borderline. When he's on, he's getting a lot of pop-up outs. But his slider might be his most effective pitch. He throws that about 40% of the time. That's a good one. The opponent's only hitting 178 off of it. And he's well prepared. He's got a changeup he'll mix in occasionally. Not a lot of them, but he'll throw them. His last start, he used his slider and changeup more than he had been.
Kolten Wong, 268. Been slumping the past 3 weeks or so. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And you'll see a lot of swings on his fastball like that that look like he's throwing 94. It's just that deceptive angle that Young is able to use with that big tall frame pitching downhill. Hides the ball extremely well. He can't pick it up. We've heard some hitters refer to his fastball as the invisible.
Still 1-2. Thought about it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I'm sure the Cardinals spent a lot of time on Chris Young. He has pitched well against them in his career. And on May 22nd at Kauffman Stadium, he pitched 6 scoreless innings. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Kolten Wong. And key for Chris Young against the Cardinals in that start, they were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. He had 8 runners in those 6 innings, but couldn't drive one home. And Wong's giving him a battle.
He is. He's seen a lot of pitches from Young. Now, Young hasn't showed him the slider yet. He probably will, maybe second time through, seeing how he's doing on his fastball.
That's line to right field. Rios looking into the sun and makes the play. Good at bat for Kolten Wong, but a better result for the Royals. And now Wong is 0 for his last 12. Royals defensively presented by Ford. Gerard Dyson out in left field with a right-hand pitcher for the Cardinals. So not only 2 of the best catchers in baseball, but 2 of the biggest grinders in baseball.
Well, the one thing both catchers have in common, and that is they wear the gold. But Yachty, 3-time platinum winner. Wow, you get that award once. That's awesome. If you can win it 3 times, you are a Hall of Famer in the making. I mean, you know, I don't know how many more years Yachty will play, but I mean, are they going to look at his offensive numbers for him to get in if he plays long enough and stays health free? I mean, he's obviously the best catcher of his era. He's got a few years left. Might be a little early to talk about the Hall of Fame, but he certainly catches like one.
Matt Carpenter has been slumping lately. Always seems to do well against the Royals, and that's because he does. He is a .397 career hitter against the Royals, but they pitched him very well when the Royals were here a month ago in St. Louis. Into the right field corner and back into the crowd. Home run distance, but Carpenter was out in front. And now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Nice to see the throwback uniforms. Add a little color to this one game makeup game.
Moustakas and Escobar. It'll be Moustakas. 2 down. I'll also point out that when Chris Young pitched that gem against the Cardinals at Kauffman Stadium in May, there were 8 infield pop-ups.
Well, when I saw that ball go up, I was telling myself that that's his game. That's what he does. He gets a lot of those high fastballs, and guys that think they can hit him, but pops them up.
Outside to Matt Holliday. He was not active when the Royals were here 5 weeks ago, out with a quad injury. Two teams very similar in that there is just a winning environment. There have been some significant players, game-changing players on both teams who have been on the disabled list. And yet here we are, the 2 best teams in baseball. Holliday was on the DL. Matt Adams is still on the DL. Adam Wainwright done for the year. Lance Lynn has been on the disabled list. Jordan Walden has been on the disabled list. John Jay, their center fielder, on the disabled list.
And you know, had they started losing games, it would be easy to say, well, that's the reason. But you know, you mentioned the winning environment, and the guys that fill in, they play up to the level of the winning ways. It's expected.
3-2 on Holliday.
Young working Holliday in on the inner half. Holliday with a really good eye. There's a couple little pitches there he took early in the count there that I know a lot of guys would be swinging at. He's very selective.
Tied him up.
So for a guy like Holliday with his type of power, and his on base percentage at .415, that's really good.
And now Holliday is on with a 2-out walk. Royals got 2 in the first inning against John Lackey. History will tell you that that is a heavier lift against Chris Young. This is his 15th start, and in his first 14 he has allowed 1 run in the first inning, so he's ready to go at the first pitch. Now Johnny Peralta, he has not been a slumping hitter lately.
Well, you know, the 2 veteran pitchers we're seeing in this ball game, both are really smart, and they use their experience of all the years of getting hitters out and being prepared and executing their pitches. And that really helps. They're not afraid, they're fearless. You know, Young, what's amazing with what he does is he does it without the velocity to blow it by hitters in the strike zone. That's what makes it amazing to watch this guy perform. It's really fun to watch. He does a great job. Salvi wants this breaking ball down.
Ooh, out over the middle of the plate, and he got away with one. Kane makes the play, so Young again has a scoreless first inning, and at the end of 1, the Royals lead 2-0. And the Astros will be in town, and we have Buck Night and summer fireworks tomorrow to kick off that 3-game series. So load up on dollar hot dogs and dollar peanuts, presented by Visit KC. And then a spectacular fireworks show after the game, courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon with Houston. 1-1 to Jarrod Dyson, who has had 2 of the biggest hits of his career the last 2 nights. Soft liner out to Carpenter, and there is 1 down.
Well, Cardinals might have a little bit of a longer history of winning championships. You talked about that winning mentality that they have. Well, the Royals have the same thing. So their players that are not used to playing every day, Paulo Orlando, Dyson, some guys that are filling in, they're playing up to that level as well. That's what winning does.
Well, this is not an automatic out. The last time Chris Young batted for the Royals in a National League ballpark, he was one of the offensive heroes in the game. That was in Milwaukee. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He pitched 7 scoreless innings, and then he drove in 3. Had a couple of hits against the Brewers. Lackey got him with a cut fastball. It's Lackey's second strikeout. 2 down in the 2nd inning. Our AT&T Uverse rewind. Chris Young, the first pitcher since 1972 to pitch 7 scoreless innings and drive in 3. The only other Royal to do that was Jim York back in 1971. And those of you who know Royals history, you'd say, well, wasn't Jim York a reliever? You're right. In relief, Jim York threw 8 scoreless innings and drove in 3 runs back in 1971.
Really? I mean, that's a long way back. And that infield drawn in like that, you couldn't have asked an everyday player to hit one any better. Little chopper right over the mound. And then that second base hit he got was clean. That was a nice knock. But all the preparation he does to the opponents and the hitters, I guarantee you, I can't guarantee you, but I would imagine he didn't spend too much time on John Lackey. His naturally, the way he swings the bat, probably just said, I'm going to go up there and see it and hit it.
Escobar strikes out for a 2nd time against Lackey. So the Royals get 2 in the 1st and down 1, 2, 3 in the 2nd. To tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KC Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. That's hashtag KC Data Strong Fan. Cardinal fans, Royals fans, sitting next to one another, talking about the game.
Love it.
Dave Holtzman did some research to see when two teams from Missouri had the two best records this late into the season. Hayward out into shallow right field. Rios going to play it on a bounce. Jason Hayward has the Cardinals' first hit. The answer to that is 1944, when the St. Louis Cardinals and the St. Louis Browns had the two best records this late in the season.
Wow, that's an interesting note there.
There you go. Cardinals went on to win one of their 11 championships. No balls and one strike to Yadier Molina. The St. Louis Browns became the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, Yachty didn't like that pitch, but you see how he does it? Nice and easy. Has a little word. You know, he's back there the whole game. Thought that ball was a little up. And Yachty, I don't know, I can't remember how many years they said it's been since he hit a triple, but last night he, bases loaded, cleared the bases here. Ball down the right field line. Oh, in Chicago, wasn't here. Against the White Sox.
Hayward runs. The pitch is high. Not in time. Hayward got to the bag before the tag.
Excellent jump. 14 steal on the year.
Ed Yost just stepped out of the dugout and said, wait a minute. And then went right back into the dugout.
14 steals, leads the Cardinals.
Look out. 1-2 on Molina. Jose Akendo, former Cardinal and longtime third base coach, making sure Cardinal catcher doesn't use up too much energy to run down the line and get his bat.
That's right, and you'd have thought that Cheo, well, that was his nickname back when he was playing with the Cardinals, would have said, at least said thank you to Moose. No pleasantries exchanged there. He just took the bat and went back. Where's the manners?
Pickoff play at second. All three outs Chris Young got in the first inning were in the air, which is typical of him. He has the lowest ground ball out ratio in the American League. It'll be out of play. It has been a down year to this point for Yadier Molina, but Hud mentioned the triple last night. He has been swinging the bat very well early in the second half. He has 8 hits in his last 17 at-bats. That puts him at .471, and anytime he's not hitting like he normally does, it always seems like the amount of games that he catches comes up. You know, is he worn out? Is he not hitting because he's catching too much? St. Louis, just like Kansas City, can be very hot during the summer. Stroke to right field, and Rios makes the play. But a productive out, and Hayward goes to third. But last inning, you were talking about Chris Young's preparation and how he gets ready for a start, and Joel was getting some reaction from some of Chris Young's teammates and how they've marveled at how he gets ready for a game.
And the thing is, hitter or pitcher, everybody prepares differently based on the way their mind works. Some guys like video, some guys like less, some guys like numbers, some don't. In Chris Young's case, he delves into it all. Danny Duffy was saying to me, this guy is mentally spot on. One of the nicest guys in the clubhouse and has an assassin's mentality on the mound. But he said that this guy doesn't waste a minute or a second in every day. He is always doing something. He's in the weight room. Oh, it must be this day if it's this time. He's looking at video on his iPad. Oh, it must be this day. Every single little thing that he does with a purpose. And yes, his teammates marvel at the amount of preparation and detail that go into Chris Young's work.
Those are the kind of guys you follow around. You learn from. You watch them, just like Duffy's doing. Pick up little things. A guy like with his experience, you're going to take notes.
I think the other thing too, though, Rex, I mean, you prepared one way, the guy you were playing with maybe prepared differently, so you take motivation, you learn how to be dedicated to it, right? But this guy went to Princeton. His mind may work differently than other guys' minds. And how many times have the two of you passed him in the clubhouse or wherever it is and seen him with a notebook open, studying certain types of numbers and trends that others just might not do well with?
Quite often.
And when you hear about a young player learning from a veteran player, it's not like, well, he taught me how to throw a curveball, or he taught me how to bunt, or he taught me how to hit the cutoff man. It's usually the mental side is what they learn from a veteran. I mean, every player has a certain set of skills that they're born with and they can fine tune. But it's the veteran who shows them how to take those skills to another level, apply those skills at this level.
And you know, it's not always on the field advice that you can gain the most from. It's also off the field stuff that goes on. You know, how do you handle this and how do you handle the media? And I got some issues with my family, and how do you separate the two? So I gained a lot from the veterans that came before me, mainly life skills.
Hit well to left field on a breaking ball that hung, and Dyson to the wall, and the Cardinals have tied the game on Randall Grichuk's 10th home run of the year.
Okay, Young looked like he left his slider out over the plate, and Grichuk didn't put a muscle-up power swing on it. He just met the ball perfectly, and he caught up in the back underneath of it. When you get to the back underside, you get that backspin, and the ball really carries here, and that's what we saw.
Dan Johnson takes a strike, former Nebraska Cornhusker, who was drafted 14 years ago by the A's out of Nebraska.
You know, we were talking last night about Travis Ishikawa, you know, and how he almost quit. And you would think that thought crossed Dan Johnson's mind once or twice. And the road he's been on. But he's never given up. He's staying there, and now he's filled a void that's needed.
Playing at first base, and that void would be Matt Adams, who is on the disabled list.
You got Mark Reynolds, who's the right-handed guy, so this guy keeps hitting like he's capable of. It's a tester here.
And Rios catches up to it.
So they got a little platoon system working out there with Johnson and Reynolds.
Don't miss out on your chance to own a piece of last postseason. The Royals and Jostens have teamed up to provide fans with rings, necklaces, cufflinks, key rings, and more to help you remember that magical ride through the 2014 postseason. And you can get more information at royals.com/fanrings. John Lackey has spent the majority of his career in the American League, so not much of a hitter. He is 3 out of 34 this year and 9 for 92 in his career. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Young finishes off Lackey and the Cardinals, but Randall Grichuk, it's a 2-run home run, and we are tied after 2. Randall Grichuk coming to the Cardinals from the Angels in a trade that involved David Freese, who is from St. Louis and was a World Series hero in 2011. Our University of Kansas hospital injury report: hit by a pitch and fractured his right index finger. David Freese placed on the disabled list today. He had 11 home runs, 43 RBIs for the Angels.
It's a tough blow for them. And Freese, he'll be forever known here. He's a local kid, grew up here in St. Louis, was a star, MVP of the World Series. Too bad the Angels will miss him. But it's not going to be that long. I read 3 to 4 weeks.
Mike Moustakas walked and scored in the first inning, and that ball is hammered into deep right center field. Grichuk at the track, he's got it. Not quite like Kauffman Stadium, but this is a pitcher-friendly ballpark, and there are plenty of other big league stadiums where Mike Moustakas would be celebrating his 11th home run of the year.
I mean, just got underneath it a tad. 375 in the power alleys here at Busch Stadium. Good swing. I thought he might have gotten it. Not a lot of wind here tonight.
You know, you mentioned 375 to the alleys, but both right center and left center, right after you get to the gap, it falls back to a point. And Moustakas hit it right to that point. I mean, it looks like it falls back another 10 feet at least. 2-1 on Lorenzo Cain. He lined out to deep right field in the first inning.
Good example of how you can get to a starting pitcher, whether you're a rookie or you're a 10-year veteran in that first inning. Lackey faced 7 Royals in the first. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row now. He's retired. Settling in.
Good breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good hook. And as John goes deeper into this game, he's changing speeds with his curveball now. He's most pitchers evolve, they get smarter. They start changing speeds on all their pitches, and it makes them a lot more difficult to hit, and that's what a pitcher does to make adjustments. We always talk about the adjustments that are made at this level up here. Hitters, pitchers, well, that's how they adjust. They start changing speeds with their pitches. They don't normally do when they're young. They just throw it hard.
"36 years old and was a world champion as a rookie." Mike Scioscia went with him in Game 7, didn't he, against the Giants?
Sure did. And won that final game and became the first rookie pitcher to start and win a Game 7 of the World Series since 1909. A guy named Babe Adams,
who is from Mount Moriah, Missouri, and has a highway named after him in north central Missouri. Still 2-2 on Cain. I remember him being asked after Game 7 about the nerves and the stress, and you've pointed out that he came up or grew up in a football crazed part of Texas, which would describe just about anywhere in Texas, and was a football star, and he played in a lot of high pressure games and big crowds. Nothing like Game 7 of the World Series, but in his mind it wasn't a huge departure from that. Crack bat. Peralta's going to have to hurry. Out.
Good hustle by Lorenzo Cain. The minute he got that jam sandwich from John Lackey, he knew he had a chance to beat that out. Peralta doing all he could to get rid of it. And Ned Yost is going to go to the trustworthy Billy Duplessis, who's in that Royals locker room reviewing those video plays, and Billy does a fine job for him. They're going to ask him to replay it. Okay, looked like he beat it to me. Let's see it right here. Oh yeah. Hopefully they'll see the same thing. See, Peralta, he didn't have time to get a big crow hop and throw it. He just had to get rid of it. Those long strides by Locaine got the job done. You hit the front part of the base, you're safe more often. Perfect touch right there in the front. Young players out there, you don't step on the middle and the back part of the base, you hit the front part. Get you there quicker.
And you don't slide.
Please, no head first sliding, unless you go feet first when the first baseman comes off the bag and you want to slide underneath him. But it's been proven that you get there quicker running through it instead of sliding head first into it.
Phil Cuzzy on the left. He's the umpire that made the call. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, on the right. The headsets come off. And Lorenzo Cain is safe with an infield single. So the call is overturned. And that is the 88th infield hit for the Royals this year.
Look at that front part of the base. Got that toe on it. That's what got him to hit. Fundamentally sound.
To Hosmer. Fair ball. And now Hosmer is arguing this is not reviewable. And Hosmer's asking the home plate umpire, who can make that call, why didn't you call it foul? Let's get another look on that ground ball that Eric Hosmer hit, which resulted in a 3-6 double play. Hosmer was convinced it was foul. Well, Johnson appeared to field that in foul territory before it got to the bag.
That's what I saw. It's the umpire's call all the way to the bag, isn't it? And I saw Ned Yost went out there, and I could read the lips of Jerry Davis, crew chief, and he said it's not reviewable.
Yeah, no boundary plays can be reviewed from home plate to third base or first. Now, we always hear that it's the home plate umpire's call before it gets to the bag, but I would bet 50% or more of the time the base umpire makes the call. They both have to keep an eye on it, but a lot of times it's the base umpire who makes the first call, especially when it's close to the bag like that. He wants Ned Yost to come out and challenge. It's just not a reviewable play. 2-1 to Wong, and now 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, Haas was upset on 2 counts there. He thought the ball was foul, but number 2 broke his bat, so he wasn't happy about losing his gamer.
That'll be out of play. Colton Wong hit a late inning home run the last time the Cardinals were home against the Mets, and they played 18 innings. Now they had a day off the next day and just finished a 2-game series in Chicago. And that stroke to right field. Rios will play it on a bounce. That puts an end to Wong's 0 for 12. So that day off came at the right time for them to use all that pitching in 1 game. Cardinals have the leadoff man on in back-to-back innings. A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Wong has the 2nd most steals on the Redbirds, behind Hayward. He's got 11. And base stealers are successful over 70% of the time in Young's career, so he's not too concerned about base runners. He just keeps his focus right on the hitter, and that's what you should do.
Matt Carpenter popped out to Moustakas in the 1st inning. That's a way that he can combat the running game, come set for a while, and yet keep his focus on hitting the target. And it's 0-2 on Carpenter.
That might be the best way to defend a running game. Just the pitcher holding the ball, because you as a base stealer, you're really anxious to get that jump, and so when you stand there for 3 or 4 seconds, it sometimes will take you away from getting that jump. And then other times when you hold it for 3 or 4 seconds, and then the next pitch you come set and go home. So you vary your times like that. It really can mess with a base runner. But like I said, I don't think Young cares too much if he does get a good jump. He's concentrate on the guy that can really hurt him.
Royals got 2 in the 1st inning. RBIs for Perez and Rios, both with 2 outs. The Cardinals got a 2-run home run from Randall Grichuk in the 2nd. Not running, and Carpenter blasts it to right field. Rios to the wall, and the Cardinals have their 2nd 2-run home run of the game.
Yep, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't when you pitch up in the strike zone like that. That's the 6th home run given up to a left-hander, and the home run by Grichuk made it 8 by righties.
Pounded foul by Holiday.
14 homers that Young has given up this season.
And that's how you get to Chris Young. His opponent's batting average is so low, you really can't count on stringing together a bunch of hits. Chris Young has now allowed 37 runs this year, and 23 of them, 23 of 37, have come on home runs. Down and into Holiday. He walked in the first inning. Like the Royals, the Cardinals don't hit a lot of home runs. They're 11th in their league. They have hit 77 home runs this year. The Royals have hit 76 home runs. Now Holiday hits a laser beam to left field, and it's over Dyson's head. And it hit the bottom of the wall, and that'll give Holiday an easy double. A more favorable bounce, and Royals might have had to play at second base.
Yeah, you see below the padding there, that's concrete. So that ball happened to hit right off that concrete, bounced way back. But I tell you, Holiday, he's so strong. I mean, you know, that ball was powdered. If he gets up underneath that, he might have hit it out of the stadium. That ball was really hit hard. Just enough to get over Dyson's head.
Ball coming up is batted 105 miles an hour. Still nobody out. So the Cardinals have greeted Chris Young with a single, a home run, and now a double. And that brings up Peralta, who is 0 for 1. Young got him on a fly ball to center field in the first inning. The Cardinals have a lot of hitters in the lineup right now who are not, or at least weren't, swinging the bat well when the game started. Peralta is not one of those. He has hit in 8 straight.
Holiday, you know, talked about how big and strong. 6'4", 250. That's a football player in a baseball player's uniform.
Infante and Hosmer go out. Hosmer in foul ground. He'll make the play. That's out number 1. Now Jason Hayward, he singled leading off the second inning, stole a base and scored on the Grichuk home run. Pulled over to Infante. 2 down. Holiday goes to third. Well, Matt Holiday, you say built like a football player, which he is, and he had the option of being a football player coming out of high school, but you might be surprised at what position.
Don't tell me he was a kicker.
Not quite.
Okay.
How about one step above that?
Punter.
Quarterback.
Okay.
That'd be a big quarterback. Yeah. And he had a scholarship to Oklahoma State to play quarterback. But the Rockies took him in the 7th round.
No, I didn't mean any disrespect by calling him a punter or a kicker, but he's a good enough athlete. He could throw that ball, I'm sure.
I'm guessing he wasn't afraid of a blitzing safety.
Nope.
2-0 on Yadier Molina. He flied out to right field in the second inning. That's hit well to right center, but Kane is there. Spacious outfield at Busch Stadium, and that's the inning. For the second straight inning, the Cardinals get a 2-run home run, and they lead 4-2. The bottom of the third inning to give the Cardinals the lead. As we take a look at the players to watch at DraftKings.com, Salvador Perez on that list. So is Matt Carpenter. So that was a good prediction at DraftKings.com. Enter the promo code BRoyal to play fantasy baseball for free. Preston Tucker's game has not started yet against the Red Sox. Red Sox have lost 7 straight. Salvador Perez with 2 down in the first inning drove in Mike Moustakas. Right after him, Alex Rios drove in Eric Hosmer for a 2-0 Royals lead, but the Cardinals have responded with 2 in the second and 2 in the third. 1-1 to Salvador Perez.
John Lackey, he really pulls hard to the left towards the first base line. A little bit of a 3/4 arm slot. He's got some pinpoint accuracy tonight. You give him a lead, he's going to be tough. Staying on the corners, you see it full wind up. Always has a scowl on his face. Kind of like Garrett Cole. Did you see Garrett Cole? That scowl he had, he meant business. Lots of times that body language can help the stuff that the pitcher has by the way he scowls.
3-2 on Sal. Alex Rios on deck, then Omar Infante.
Good rip. Lackey loves his fastball, and he's not afraid to throw it. He's convicted with it. He could come back with it again here. It's a good swing. Salvi.
Sal's base hit was pulled to left field in the first inning. And a broken bat and a ball both go rolling toward Carpenter. 1 down in the fourth.
Lackey's been getting in some kitchens tonight of the Royals, and that's a term that's used when you get inside, jam him. He's taken Kane's bat. Kane got a base hit, though, on an infield hit. He's broken Hosmer's bat, and now he's gotten Salvi. So he's using that fastball effectively on both sides, especially in on righties.
Rios went the other way against Lackey in the first. He singled to right center, driving in a run, and Rios has hit in 6 straight. That is a fair ball, and all the way down into the corner. As a corner outfielder in this ballpark, you have to be ready for 2 different bounces. If the ball hits that side wall, which has a pretty dramatic angle to it, or if it misses that wall and goes all the way down into the corner.
Yeah, and Holiday, he was playing off of the first corner there. He kind of came in a little bit, not sure if it was going to hit that, but you're right. Then he went ahead and conceded the double and wanted to make sure he got it in before Rios got a triple. But that was a breaking ball. He hadn't thrown a lot of them, but that was hung and he hit it, staying hot. Like to see it.
And now Omar Infante, who has not hit a home run yet this year, in case you're scoring at home. Past Lackey and out to the second baseman Wong. 2 down, and Rios goes to third. Gerard Dyson comes to the plate, and once again we check in with Joel.
Yeah, Ryan, you were talking before about Dyson having 2 of the biggest hits of his career. Think back to it. The night that Alex Gordon gets hurt and the place was just lifeless. The team looked lifeless, and he makes that big double play. Then he has the inside the park home run. Big hits this week, including after Jason Vargas got hurt. I was talking to Rusty Kuntz about it, and he said that speed is energy, and that is what you get from Gerard Dyson. There are players like this, he said, around the league, guys like Sam Fuld, Kevin Kiermaier, Billy Burns, and those are the guys, you take them away from the team and they can oftentimes flatline, but they're also most of the time guys that can't necessarily go at that pace every single day. But he said that Gerard Dyson can absolutely be the life of this team. And Salvador Perez said, well, he's like me. You always hear him, you always see him. I'm a big kid, he's a little kid.
1-1 to Dyson.
Both have the potential, though, to make a difference in a game. And right now, you know, Dan Johnson, first baseman, he's playing back. I mean, he's basically given Dyson a drag bunt down the line here. It's all set up for him. And you know, most bunters, they're going to take a peek. However, National League rules with a pitcher on deck, they don't necessarily want you to bunt. However, with a runner at third base, pick the runner up right here. I mean, any way you can.
Yeah, that doesn't come into play right here. Because if he gets a bunt base hit, the Royals get a run. And by the way, with Chris Young on deck, Ned Yost has Chris Medlin warming up in the bullpen. So if something happens here, it's the strategy of the National League game. Ned might go to someone like Kendrys Morales if Dyson gets on. The decisions that need to be made in the National League that you don't have to worry about at all in the American League. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Yachty's sitting up out there, makes it look good to the home plate umpire when you split the legs right there. He made that look better than it was.
And now Dyson walks, and what is Ned Yost going to do? He is going to go to his bench and then his bullpen in the bottom of the 4th inning. Chris Young was scoreless in the first, but he gave up a 2-run home run in the second and a 2-run home run in the third. So you never know when you're going to get a scoring opportunity, and all Ned does is bring a guy off his bench who leads the league in RBIs.
Yeah, he's been waiting for an opportunity to use him, and sometimes managers want to hold that card till late in the game, but right here Ned's making a decision to take his starter out and go into that deep bullpen of his, but he wants to bring Morales out at this particular point. 2 outs, he's counting on a big hit from Morales. Kendrys 1 for 4. off of the bench as a pinch hitter.
A .240 hitter as a pinch hitter in his career.
Dyson might want to see if he can get one of the first 2 pitches and steal. We'll see.
And Molina might want to address that with Lackey.
Yeah, they're going to talk about that because, you know, if Dyson does get thrown out, that ends the inning, obviously, and Morales is your leadoff. Or he's not going to lead off, so you lose.
Yeah.
Him. So there's the situation there. Dyson.
Unless Morales pitches next half inning.
No, but see, then if he does steal second base, he could walk Morales intentionally to load him up for Escobar. I mean, there's a lot of strategy in the National League game.
Dyson not running, and Morales takes outside, and Ned Yost won't do this, but another option he could use is leave Morales in the game, and then Eric Hosmer's spot becomes the pitcher spot, a double switch. Things like that happen later in National League style games. One ball, one strike.
And I remember when I played for the Cardinals and Whitey was the manager, he would make a move in game and sit back on the bench where I was most of the time, and he would go, well, let's hear what the fans got to say about that one. You know, because he knows that that's what that's all about. The National League game, people talk about second guessing and maybe we should do this or you should leave him in.
Hit well to center field, but Grichuk is there. So, well, that's what you hope for. You go for it. You hope for a good swing. Morales gave it to him, but he lines to the warning track. Now Chris Medlin will make his second appearance as a Royal. His first game since 2013 was Monday night against the Pirates. Now he did give up some runs, including a home run, but also looked like all 3 of his pitches were there.
Yep, bounced, got this nice play at third base, showing his athleticism. Fans liked it. So did Ned Yost.
So Chevy called to the bullpen. There's the final line. No walks in 3 1/3. 1 run was a home run on a pitch that was not even a strike. Another run on a ground ball up the first base side that looked like it was going to roll foul. The Royals put a glove on it. That scored a run, and then 2 others after he had left the game. That was his first appearance since September of 2013. And a letdown for Chris Young tonight, especially with what Joel was talking about, all the time and all the preparation he puts
in every week to get ready for that one start every 5 days. And after 3 innings, it's all over. And he starts the process all over again for his next start.
Yeah, and you know, I'm okay with the move that Ned made because I'm not sure that Young had his best stuff tonight that he was able to locate properly. The only bummer is that there's no more Morales now. But it was a good shot. I mean, you'd hope that the pinch hitter, which is the toughest job to do in baseball, would have a good at bat. I mean, he drove that almost 400 feet, so it was a good pinch hit opportunity for him. And unfortunately, there was 2 outs. He couldn't get that run home.
And Dyson was at first, so if that ball gets over Grichuk's head, that's 2 runs, and we're looking at a tie. Speaking of Grichuk, he had a 2-run home run in the 2nd inning to tie the game, his 10th of the year.
Medlin 2 and 4 seam fastball. He'll throw curveball, changeup. He's got nice movement on his curve, straight down. Changeup fades in to righties and away to lefties.
Up the middle and into center field. 3rd straight inning, the Cardinals have had the leadoff man, and that leadoff man scored in the last 2. Well, if you have a classic car that you want to show off, well, then come out to the ballpark on Sunday, August 16th for our Cruise to the K Classic Car Show and Exhibit. It begins at 8 a.m. Cars will be on display throughout the day in the Royals parking lot for all to see. And a $35 ticket package will include 1 vehicle entered into the car show, 2 game tickets, a dash plaque, and a commemorative T-shirt. Plus, you're competing for a chance to see your car parade around the warning track during the pregame ceremonies. Sal didn't see it, still hasn't seen it, and Grichuk is going to go 1st to 3rd on 1 wild pitch. Salvi had some trouble with Medlin on Monday, remember? And we talked about that. You brought it up. Maybe he's caught him before, but not in a game situation.
Yep. And you know, it looks like to me the umpire got in the way of Salvi because he's alert. He's looking around. He kicked off the umpire's leg, and he was looking back where the ball should have gone, but he kicked off the umpire's leg. And Salvi, sometimes when a catcher can't pick it up, he'll look to the position player. See, Hosmer's gonna run over there and look for somebody who's pointing, but you know, Grichuk is a good runner too.
Pick-off play at 3rd. Got him! How about that for an answer? The Cardinals may take another look. Third base umpire Carlos Torres, called up from the minor leagues, made the call, and now Mike Matheny is going to find out from his replay coordinator.
That was so quick. You could barely see it. Salvi transfer. Glove to hand. Right over the top. Now this throw is right where you want as a third baseman, so you could drop the tag on him there. And third base umpire's eyes were on it. Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why Salvi's one of the best and wears the gold. And Grichuk, he's like a kid that got caught in the candy store. Oh, he looked like he was surprising. Matheny's still waiting.
Yeah, now they're going to ask for a review. This is a big, big play.
That took almost as long as the review, just to see him, for him to get together with his video coordinator.
Well, I haven't seen an angle yet that shows he was definitely out or definitely safe.
Nope, didn't see it either.
A better look. Now that one right there looks like he's out. We bring it up every time. Clear and convincing evidence, and if that is not available, then it's the call on the field, which is Grichuk is out.
I mean, Oquendo, he knows better than to let Grichuk get that far down the line. There's nowhere to go. I mean, if a ball does bounce to Salvi's left or to his right. Grichuk has the speed to read that and score, but some of that's on Oquendo. You know, and Moustakas and Salvi and Haas, they've all been together for years, and they know each other. Now here he's coming. Now he's yelling, back, back, back. Moose with a nice tag. He took it down and tagged him and brought it right up and showed the umpire. Sometimes when you sell it like that, it looks better than sometimes it is.
So what a turn of events this would be if this call stands or is confirmed. Leadoff single, wild pitch, and Grichuk went first to third on one wild pitch, and then one pitch later called out. It's a good angle. Here we go. Yep, I didn't see it. To be honest, I didn't see it either way. I didn't see he was definitely safe or definitely out. And the Cardinals lose their challenge. So the call stands. So the umpire in New York, same thing. He didn't see it one way or the other.
Nice call, Carlos Torres. Anyway, it's right on top of the play. I mean, he was thief-like with his hands, Salvador Perez. Watch the quickness. Oh, man. You know, and Oquendo was yelling at Grichuk when Salvi just stepped up. I mean, that's how quick he was yelling at him to get back. But not enough time to hear it, see it, and get back into the base.
15th career pickoff. And of course, we'll never forget his big league debut when he got 2 of those 3 and almost picked off 3 in one game. And now Medlin walks Johnson with 1 out. Salvador Perez in his big league debut in 2011. Tampa Bay picked off a runner at first. He picked off a runner at third. And he nearly picked off a runner at second base. So as I say, he almost picked off for the cycle in his big league debut. And he drove in a run. And he made a couple fine plays on pop-ups. Lackey bunts in the air. Hosmer makes the play, 2 down with Johnson at first base.
Once again, Medlin, the pitcher, he wanted it, but Haas called him off. He comes and gets it, but he's screaming too. Watch him yelling. Communication is important in all aspects of life, but especially in baseball, you gotta let your opponents know, and you gotta let your teammates know.
Now Colton Wong with 2 down. At the knees for a strike. Wong lined to right in the first inning. That made him 0 for his last 12, and then he led off the third with a single and scored on the difference in this game right now. Matt Carpenter's 2-run home run. And it's 0-2. Still 0-2. $15 career pickoffs for Salvador Perez, 2 this year, including Grichuk in this inning. A Hudism, dig yourself. And Salvi usually will try for a pickoff at third when he thinks the runner is digging himself. Like maybe he just stole third, or he went there on a wild pitch or a pass ball. I imagine there is strategy to that. Center field, Kane coming up. He's there to make the play. So right after Grichuk went first to third on a wild pitch, Salvi and the Royals thought he might have been a bit full of himself, and this turned the inning around.
How dare you take 2 bases on a wild pitch on me? Take that. Go sit down. Nice.
It's 4-2. Sundays at Kauffman Stadium. That's the place to be with the family. Prior to every Sunday home game, the Royals have Family Fun Day. It includes face painters and balloon artists, an entertaining DJ, and player autographs on top of the Royals dugout. And then after the game, kids under 14 can run the bases during the Skippy Fun Run, and the first 500 kids in line get a Skippy t-shirt. Next one is this Sunday with the Houston Astros. Top of the order, Escobar, Moustakas, Kane. Lackey has 3 strikeouts tonight, 2 of them against Alcides Escobar.
Watch this kid. He's going to give his mom a wet willy. Watch this. And she doesn't even move.
Well, I can speak from experience on behalf of my wife Sarah that when you are the mother of multiple boys, there are just things that you become numb to over time. And in that family's case, apparently it's wet willies.
Mom, no problem, Mom. Been through it before. Oh, Esky couldn't quite get the infield knock.
Mike Moustakas has walked and scored and flied out to deep right center field. With 1 out in the first inning, he walked against Lackey, and then with 2 outs, Salvador Perez got him home. Alex Rios followed with an RBI single. The Royals led 2-0 until the Cardinals got 2 in the second on a home run by Grichuk, and then 2 in the third on a home run by Carpenter. One and 2 on Moustakas. Two and 2. One more hit, and Mike Moustakas will tie his total from last year, which is 97. And almost half as many at-bats. He'll have to wait another at-bat. 4 strikeouts for Lackey and 2 down in the 5th inning.
Big John went to the backdoor curve not once but twice. He didn't get it the pitch before, and this one here he just made a little adjustment, Moose knew it.
Colton Wong throws out Lorenzo Cain, who is 1 for 3. To the bottom of the 5th, St. Louis leads 4-2.
Eight-inning, 2-run performance from David Price, and in the 12th, Mike Zunino with the walk-off double. Mariners win. The Tigers, or probably not a walk-off because they were, of course, on the road. That's the way that works, right? Anyway, the Tigers end up losing that one. 6 straight extra innings games they have lost. Chris Medlin's second performance for him after coming off the disabled list. Guys, he said the other night was mixed emotions for him. First outing since September 27, 2013. Had a great ovation. His family was there. His 2.5-year-old son, Max, had never watched him play while understanding that his dad actually was a baseball player. So really special. At the same time, he was upset to give up the run. Said he went back and looked at the numbers. He said, I never look at my fastball numbers. He said, because that's depressing. He's not a power pitcher. But he said he looked at his changeup. It was coming in around 86. He said, that's a little bit too hard. It's going to take some time.
He threw some really good ones and a good breaking ball.
Haven't they all said, coming off that surgery, that it hadn't affected their power, but it has their finesse and their touch and their feel?
Their ability to finish pitches. Two and one on Matt Carpenter. His 2-run home run in the 3rd inning broke a 2-2 tie. You know, he's been hitting right around 180 since June 1st. That's a long time. Batting well over 300, 318 after the first 2 months, but beginning on June 1st, right at 180.
When you have the work ethic and when you have the track record, your manager's going to stick with you thick and thin.
Out at first base, Infante takes care of Carpenter. And as we promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Don't forget to tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag KC Data Strong Fan for a chance to have it featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Christopher and Friends. Matt Holliday takes ball 1. Holliday is walked and doubled. Holliday is playing in just his 58th game of the year after that strained quad muscle, thigh muscle, which he injured trying to run down a ball in Colorado, coming in from left field. Matt Adams, their first baseman, is out with a torn quad muscle. That is Medlin's second walk. Very pleasant here tonight. St. Louis, just like Kansas City this time of year, can be burning hot. But we had a game time temperature of 86 degrees. Very pleasant night. And after tonight, the Royals head back home. A lot of empty seats. Johnny Peralta is 0 for 2. Cardinals have a very favorable schedule coming out of the All-Star break. Mike Matheny's team will play 14 of their first 16 at home. They just got back from Chicago. They played a 2-game series with the White Sox and came right back to St. Louis. They stumbled somewhat going into the break. At one point this year, the Cardinals had a 9-game lead in their division. But when they went to the All-Star break, it was 2.5 games. And with some help from the Brewers and the Royals, those two teams playing the Pirates, the Cardinals' lead is back to 6 over Pittsburgh. That is the second largest divisional lead in baseball. Royals, of course, have the largest at 7.5 over Minnesota. 2-2 on Peralta.
Peralta has grounded into 12 double plays. That's what Medlin would love to see here. And that's the pitch you get it on, but he struck him out. Nice breaking ball. Now, was that his changeup?
Looked like a changeup to me.
Remember, Joel just said he threw it at 86. It's a little hard. That was 84. That's more in the range where he likes it.
Holliday at first, 2 down to Jason Hayward. You can see on Hayward's sleeve that patch that says OT on his left sleeve, giving us a very good angle right now. All the Cardinals have that to honor Oscar Taveras, who died in a car accident when the Royals were in the World Series. So they've had to deal with quite a bit of adversity. I mean, this one, the deepest type. Taveras was just getting his major league career underway, so they're without him. That's why they went out and got Jason Hayward with the Braves. I remember we were in San Francisco during the World Series, and the story came across the wire. And tragic when any young person dies, but here in St. Louis, it was a budding superstar. Dyson makes a play in front of the warning track. Medlin gets around a 1-out walk. Then at the end of 5, St. Louis leads 4-2. sonic slam inning. And he hit number 9 in impressive fashion last night off of Charlie Morton.
Oh, perfect swing. And it was loud. And it went far.
And our contestant tonight is Jim Hyder from Polo, Missouri. A home run is worth $400 to Jim. And a grand slam out of the park. And Jim Hyder will be a popular man in Polo, Missouri, as he will take home 25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Let's give away some money. How about the big money? Wouldn't that be nice? Load them up, clean them off.
Sharply hit ground ball that ricochets off of Johnson. Lackey goes to first for a 3-4-1 putout. I thought only the Royals made plays like that.
Yeah, I guess not, but the whole key to that was Lackey getting over to cover first. Ball ate him up. Hosmer with some good topspin on it. And John Lackey was there in plenty of time.
Curveball. Strike one to Salvador Perez. 1 for 2 with an RBI single. John Lackey is at 85 pitches. Drop down somewhat sidearm on that play, and it's by the diving Jason Hayward. Salvador Perez is going to stop at second base with a double, and the Cardinals are lucky that it was Perez running. Otherwise, the Royals could have a runner at third with 1 out.
Nice effort by Hayward. That ball, Salvi, was a high fastball up and away. He tomahawked it, and the ball was slicing towards that right field line. Great effort, though. And you know, it's important for the infielders, we talk about, that they know the speed of the runner, but also the outfielders too. I'm sure that he maybe wouldn't have left his feet and went to the corner on a speedier runner. That's a nice effort.
And now Alex Rios, he is 2 for 2 against Lackey tonight with an RBI. He thought that ball was high. Talking it over with Will Little.
Well, can't disagree with Rios there.
Alex Rios now has 32 career at bats against Lackey, and he's done well. He has 12 hits in those 32 at bats. No argument this time, and it's 0-2. Told you early in the game that Lackey's been on a roll in his previous 7 starts, all quality starts, and he has not allowed more than 2 runs in any of those starts. The Royals got 2 in the first inning tonight. Now trying to get Perez home from second. Rios spoils a pretty good pitch, still 0-2. Blocked by Molina. With 2 hits tonight, Alex Rios has 4 multi-hit games in his last 6 games. So both he and Dyson and Orlando have been picking up the slack with Alex Gordon on the disabled list.
Okay, there he gave it back to him. That pitch there, John wanted, and he got it in the first pitch against Rios, but that time there, didn't call it. Rios looks a lot more confident in that box. And that's what will happen. You know, when you have confidence and you start getting your hits, and we've talked about how he's been picking it up. He's really competing in his at-bats. You can tell by just looking at him. He looks a lot like a much more confident hitter.
And he takes a count from 0-2 to 3-2.
Lackey earlier in the game would be challenging hitters in counts like this with his fastball. We'll see if he tries to get him to swing at a breaking ball. Yachty's the quarterback.
High chop to third. Sal goes back to second, and Rios is out on a close play. 2 down. Fox Sports Kansas City invites you to join current and former Royals players on the field on August 31st for Diamond of Dreams. You'll enjoy a menu from local restaurants, live music from the American authors, and a fireworks show, and it's all for charity. And you can buy your tickets now at Royals.com/Diamond of Dreams. Well, the Royals 2 runs in the first inning. Came with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, and now Infante will try to add to that. He is grounded out twice against Lackey. He's grounded out to third, grounded out to second. Got a pitch up, and that's fouled and back and out of play.
Hayward in right field has 5 outfield assists. He has the most in the outfield. Grichuk has 1 in center. Holiday hasn't thrown out a runner yet, but he has an average arm.
1-2 on Infante. St. Louis Cardinals have the major league's best starting pitching ERA, even with Adam Wainwright done for the year. And John Lackey is 1 out away from adding to the Cardinals' major league total for quality starts. Cardinals starters have 62 quality starts, 3 earned runs or less in 6 or more innings. Peralta is there, throws out his former teammate, and the Royals aren't able to turn Perez's double into a run. And speaking of that, we hope you'll stop by the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum on Saturday, August 1st for the 2015 Heart of America Hot Dog Festival presented by Hy-Vee, Pepsi, and Farmland. You can spend a day at the museum celebrating America's pastime with this family-friendly event featuring live music, games, an appearance from Slugger, and you can taste some of the country's most famous ballpark hot dogs, including the return of the signature Monarchs dog. And tickets start at just $10, and all proceeds benefit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Franklin Morales will take over in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cardinals scored all 4 runs against Chris Young in his 3 innings, and then he was lifted early for a pinch hitter when Ned Yosart a scoring opportunity, and then Chris Medlin turned into scoreless innings. I personally grew up on Dodger dogs.
It's a good brand. They're all good if you ask me. I like them all. Morales, fastball slider. 3/4 arm slot. Good solid stuff. This fastball 90 to 93. It's comfortable.
Might be a little rusty with his first few pitches tonight. He has not pitched since Saturday.
That's a good thing. Danny Duffy's outing really helped Ned Yost at that particular time.
Twice this week, Ned Yost needed a starter to step up with a used up bullpen. Danny Duffy did that on Sunday, going up against Chris Sale. And Edinson Volquez the same last night, getting the game into the 8th inning. 3-1 on Molina. And Ned had to go to the bullpen early tonight. There's Volquez. Had one of his best starts as a Royal last night, beating his former team. Escobar will throw out Molina. One down in the bottom of the 6th, and Molina is 0 for 3. Don't forget to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. You know, the Royals were very fortunate that this 1-game makeup was in St. Louis instead of Toronto or Tampa Bay or Seattle. Royals not only won last night, but they played a quick game, and even with the sellout crowd were able to get out of the stadium in pretty quick fashion. Then the short flight, not a very long bus ride from the airport to the hotel, and I think just about everybody got to bed around the same time they would be if we went home after that game last night. And then the Cardinals were kind enough to schedule a 6 o'clock game rather than 7. Grichuk, who already has a home run, that was to left field in the 2nd inning, almost hit one to right. And Alex Rios used all of the 375 feet to that part of the ballpark to bring it down.
Yeah, good swing. Got up underneath it. Rios is feeling for the wall, even he knew he was close. Another thing, though, Ryan, about that short trip is that there was no luggage to bring. Everybody just had their carry-ons. Lots of times when you get in from a trip, on a long road trip, you wait for your bags to come in and everything. So that was something different and easy.
And you bragged earlier about only having to pack 1 shirt, which is a bit frightening.
A change of underwear. Come on.
All right.
From yesterday.
Well, you said, quote, all I had to bring was a shirt.
Well, I didn't go into detail with what all was in my bag, but there wasn't much in it.
Dan Johnson has walked and flied to right. Morales comes into the game and gets the Cardinals quickly 1-2-3, and we head to the 7th inning. John Lackey and the Cardinals leading the Royals 4-2.
Cardinals lead the Royals 4-2. Joel Goldberg back here at Busch Stadium as Panera takes us around the league. Told you about Seattle beating Detroit in 12 innings. Minnesota, they've really been struggling, but they got a great outing from Irvin Santana. Trevor Bauer knocked around by the White Sox. Jeff Samardzija pitched well. Boston and Houston 2-1. The Astros coming to Kansas City tomorrow, and they have adjusted their rotation, having just acquired Scott Kazmir. He will pitch tomorrow. Dallas Keuchel moves to Saturday, or pardon me, Scott Feldman on Saturday, and then Dallas Keuchel on Sunday. Kind of reminds me a little bit of last year, Ryan, when John Lester, who the Royals had already faced twice, went over to Oakland, and the Royals got him a third time. Now they'll get a chance to face Kazmir, an out-of-division pitcher, for the third time.
That was Lester's Oakland debut, wasn't it, when we were in the Bay Area? Dyson showing bunt against John Lackey, and now taking a breaking ball for a strike. Next pitch will be number 100 for John Lackey. Dyson, and then Paulo Orlando is on deck, followed by Alcides Escobar. Lackey's season high is 109 pitches. Well, this is where the Royals have thrived for most of the year, in the later innings. Only the Astros have a better run differential in the major leagues once you get to the 7th, according to our Toyota League leaders. Molina was getting ready to throw it around the horn, but Will Little said it was outside. Lackey has only walked one. Pretty good outing, considering he used 30 of his pitches in the first inning.
Really good outing. Talks about his mound presence, moxie. You know, he's a tough Texan and doesn't back down. Really has that good mound presence. Competitor.
That ball needed to get over Lackey's head. Then you're talking about a base hit, and said it's an easy play for him. Dyson is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. And now Paulo Orlando is going to bat for Franklin Morales. Paulo did not play in the Pittsburgh series. But the homestand before that, he had the walk-off grand slam in one game, and then a go-ahead home run in another game. And then had a home run in the first series after the All-Star break in Chicago. So we'll see Luke Hochevar when the Cardinals come up in the bottom of the 7th inning.
This is Paulo's first career pinch hit opportunity.
John Lackey going for his 8th consecutive quality start without allowing more than 2 runs in any of those starts. And he's 1 out away from that as Orlando is down on strikes. That's Lackey's 5th. He was an appealing pitcher for the Cardinals for 2 reasons last year. First of all, he's a veteran. They needed a veteran pitcher, but he had a clause in his contract with the Red Sox where if he lost a significant amount of time to injury, that in 2015 he would make the major league minimum. And in 2012, John Lackey missed the entire season because of Tommy John surgery. So here's a pitcher with 160 career victories who is making the major league minimum this year. Big lucrative contract when he went from the Angels to the Red Sox, but there was something that showed up on his MRI, and the Red Sox were fearful that that would become a serious injury, so that was the agreement between the 2 teams. And then Lackey's contract spikes back up again next year.
Yeah, interesting though how Lackey, he pitched 13 years of professional baseball before he had the surgery, the procedure. And, you know, he didn't throw a lot in high school. He only threw 14 innings in high school. So he didn't have a lot of mileage early as a young player. But, you know, that's a lot of years, 13 to go, and not have that procedure. It's impressive. Vargas, he pitched a long time, too, before his first one. And have they said when they're going to have that surgery on Vargas yet?
You mean like the exact date?
No, I mean like it's got to be sometime. I mean, the sooner the better, right? Or do they let the inflammation go down on that? I'm not real sure.
It's been a while since I was at med school. Escobar is out. So Lackey goes 7 innings. Gives up just 2 runs, and both of those runs were way back in the first.
Back earlier in the year in Houston. In this one, Mike Napoli doing the damage for the Red Sox. Been a very rough go for Boston, 42 and 53 on the year. But Napoli goes deep, batting just 201 on the season. A lot of frustrations for the Red Sox.
Yeah, they enter that game with a 7-game losing streak. Luke Hochevar with the Royals down 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cardinals have their pitcher spot coming up. I think Mike Matheny got all he needed out of John Lackey, going 7 innings, giving up 2 runs. So Peter Borges will lead off. And the top of the order, Colton Wong and Matt Carpenter. Good hard slider.
Borges 1 for 11 off of Matheny's bench as a pinch hitter. Haven't seen that slider first pitch there that Hoach threw. That we usually see that second pitch there, the curve. That's good and nice to see Hoach feeling comfortable and getting most of his repertoire back. Now he doesn't use all of them like he used to when he was a starter because he doesn't need to, but he's been going with a good hard fastball. He's been topping 95. We saw 96.
Dyson runs in from left field to get Borges 1 down. Luke Hochevar in the middle of a nice run. Let's take a look at the sprint cuts of the game. Here's a recent outing for Hochevar in Chicago. And with that out, Hochevar now has 12 consecutive scoreless innings. Outside for ball 1-2, Colton Wong. 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored in the third inning. All the scoring was very early. The Royals got 2 in the first. The Cardinals 2 in the second, 2 in the third. Royals got 2 out RBIs from Perez and Rios in the first, and now John Lackey has strung together 6 straight scoreless innings. Cardinals got a 2-run home run from Randall Grichuk in the second, and a 2-run home run from Matt Carpenter in the third. And that ground ball is by Infante. And Colton Wong, who at one point was 0 for 12, 0 for his last 12 tonight, now has 2 hits in his last 3 at-bats.
Would have had another one had he not lined out his first time up to Rios and right.
Now Matt Carpenter 1 for 3. 1 hit is the biggest hit tonight, putting the Cardinals in front 4-2. His 10th home run of the year. RBIs 46 and 47. And that'll get Wong down to second base. Wild pitch charge to Luke Hochevar. Sal's going to go out and have a little chat with him. We remind you, if you're on the road and you want to watch the Royals, well, subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. If you're interested, go to MLB.TV for details.
We're talking about Carpenter and how he's struggled for a good part of the year, early part of the season. One of the reasons Matheny, I'm sure, leaving him in there, 379 hitter with a runner in scoring position. So he's been productive and he's been getting his hits when they need him to.
Up and away, 2 balls, 1 strike. Matt Carpenter was a 13th round pick. Cardinals signed him for $1,000 back in 2009. Hard to believe that he was once a lazy, overweight college player. I mean, he's about as thin as they come now, but he got his act together in the middle of his college career. And one of the best all-around players in the National League. Good late-breaking slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And of course, one of the many great stories about Torrey Hunter is that he took Carpenter under his wing. Carpenter didn't have a lot of money, neither did his family, and he saw Torrey Hunter, met him, and Torrey said, "Hey, why don't you come to the complex that I've been working out at?" Carpenter said, "Oh, it's a little bit too much money for me." He goes, "Don't worry about it. Come on, I'll take care of it, and let's get you into baseball shape. Let's make you a big leaguer." And you know, that really helped Carpenter. He'll never forget Torrey Hunter. And Torrey has a laundry list a mile long of guys that he's mentored in his career. But that's one of the best stories I've heard about Torrey Hunter. There's a lot of them out there.
Matt Carpenter's father is a high school baseball coach in Texas, and as a way of paying Torrey Hunter back, Matt Carpenter's dad was a coach for Torrey's son. Wow. Chris Maloney. Cardinal first base coach with the defensive play of the game.
Get that man on a highlight reel. Woo, nice hands there. He gave to it. Sweet. Another way to make a reel, Chris.
Number 77, Chris Maloney. Struck him out. Fastball away at 92. 2 down in the 7th inning.
Coach with excellent command with that pitch there on the outside part of the plate. 92 and firm. Good spot.
Randy Choate is the left-hander warming in the Cardinal bullpen. Seth Maness was also warming up out there earlier. Royals have Moustakas, Kane, and Hosmer, so 2 of the 3 hitters coming up are left-handers. Matt Holliday has walked twice and doubled. He was really playing well when he went down with the injury. Remember at Kauffman Stadium, he was working on that long streak of games reaching base, and twice he extended it by getting hit by a pitch in the same series, and the streak ended at 45 games to begin a season. That's a National League record. Derek Jeter has the major league record. He had 53 consecutive games in 1996. And in case you're wondering, and I know you are, the all-time record at any point of the season, Ted Williams once went 73 consecutive games reaching base.
Wow.
And now Holliday walks for a 3rd time tonight. Whichever didn't look like he wanted to challenge him there, and he'll take his chances now with Johnny Peralta. Royals head home after the game tonight. Then the Houston Astros will be in town. The Royals looking for some revenge. Remember, Houston swept the Royals a couple of road trips ago. All games on Fox Sports Kansas City, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. Joel was telling us that we'll see Scott Kazmir, who is from Houston, so he goes back home to pitch for the Astros. Jeremy Guthrie will start for the Royals. Two on, 2 out to Johnny Peralta, who has an 8-game hitting streak on the line right here. Hochevar got a really good hard slider tonight. 0-1.
It's beauty. He's been starting hitters off with it. Following up with a curve. Let's see if he does.
Got a pitcher pinch running at first base. Carlos Martinez running for Matt Holliday. Escobar to Infante, and that is the inning. Cardinals get a single and a walk. They are scoreless to the 8th inning. The Royals are down by 2. And by Thoroughbred Ford. For great deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. Paid attendance tonight, 46,003. Final game of the 2015 I-70 series. Peter Borges on a double switch will stay in the game and play in center field. Randall Grichuk, who was in center, moves over to left. And as we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Early, when the sun was still out, the Royals got on board first, not once, but twice. Rios delivered, knocking in Haas. Time to get back on that board, guys. They're getting into the pen. Now you hope that you can win. See if they can get some guys on, get a big hit. They're used to doing that late in games. See if they can happen here against Choate. He's a sidewinding lefty. 85 to 88 with his sinking fastball. Slider curve.
Cardinals have had a little trouble with their bullpen lately. Over their last 12 games, they have suffered 4 blown saves. Down and away, 2-0 to Moustakas. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored tonight. So they had 5 blown saves in the first 81 games, and now 4 over their last 12. And that's line to right field. Mike Moustakas has his first hit. And the middle of the order coming up, representing the tying run.
And they're not booing Choate. There's moose calls all over the league. Matheny's seen enough. He's going to go with Seth Maness. He's righty in the bullpens. That ball's right over the middle. Moose doing what you do. You can't hit it through the shift. You hit it over it. Good swing.
Royals down by 2. Leadoff man on, top of the 8th. Remind you that tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, and 46,003 the paid attendance here tonight. Royals down by 2, and we just showed you a couple of innings ago how they have thrived for most of this year in the later innings, and they do it again tonight against the Cardinal bullpen. Breaking ball strike from Maness to Lorenzo Cain.
Strike one, breaking ball. He's got a good fastball, 90 to 95. Opponents are hitting 313 off of him. Lorenzo Cain 1 for 2 in his career with Seth Maness.
Going for it all. I think he was looking for a pitch down and in. No balls, 2 strikes.
Now Lorenzo might want to shorten up, down on the count 0-2, and see if he can just find a hole. Keep that line moving.
Center field. Borges is back. 1 down. Remember, we were talking about Matt Carpenter and how the Cardinals got him for a $1,000 bonus. You can say the same about Seth Maness, an 11th round pick out of East Carolina University. Well, I thought that Mike Matheny might leave Choate in there for Cain, knowing that Hosmer was coming up. But Maness, at least as far as batting average goes, is better against lefties than he is righties. Neither number is very impressive. But Hosmer is going to get a shot at him with Moustakas at first and 1 out. This is Hosmer's first career at bat against Maness. And he's ahead in the count, 2-0.
Went changeup.
Ooh, man. That is his hot zone. He had a pitch in a similar location last night up on the steps near Rivals at Kauffman Stadium.
Just a tad out front. A little bit long, but nice. 2-0. Looking for that pitch. Change up.
Up the middle and into center field, and now the potential tying run is on. Moustakas stops at second. Eric Hosmer has a 2-hit game.
Way to stay with the change. Saw one change up in the second pitch now, and he got to see it again, and he just stayed with it. Molina sitting out up in the car. Hosmer's backside went, but he's able to get the big part of the meat of the bat on it. Bat had stayed in that hitting zone a long time and is able to stick it up the middle. Keep the line moving there. Let's see what Salvi can do.
Royals have not scored since the first inning when they got 2 against Lackey, and Perez drove in one of those runs. Perez and Rios drove in the Royals' first 2 runs. 0-2 on Salvador Perez, and like Hosmer, he is facing this pitcher for the first time.
So 2 fastballs. Interesting. Salvi hit a nice ball in that first inning. It was a breaking ball off Lackey, and I think Molina didn't want to give him one of those breaking balls. Might just stay with the heat.
Broken bat, short hop, double play. Fox Sports, Kansas City, and the Royals invite University of Nebraska fans to come out to Kauffman Stadium August 8th as the Royals host the White Sox. Buy a ticket through Royals.com/Huskers and then get to the game early for this Nebraska-themed Royals cap Huskers night on August 8th. Kelvin Herrera for the bottom of the 8th inning. He is the 5th Royals pitcher tonight. He'll get Hayward, Molina, and Grichuk. Chris Young went 3 innings and allowed the 4 runs, and probably would have pitched longer than that, but with the National League rules, Ned Yost saw a scoring opportunity in the top of the 4th inning with 2 on, 2 out, and he used Kendrys Morales, and Kendrys lined to the warning track in center field. So Ned Yost has gone with Chris Medlin, 2 scoreless innings, and then Franklin Morales and Luke Hochevar have each turned in a scoreless inning. Jason Hayward singled in the 2nd inning and scored on the Grichuk home run.
Herrera fastball slider change, and we saw him in his last outing throw the most sliders we've seen him throw.
He went an inning and 2/3 that night, which was a season high for him. He's normally 1 inning at a time, and maybe feeling like he needed to use a 3rd pitch, going multiple innings. It's a pretty good one too.
Yeah, they were. He had good command with it. He gave up a hit on one of them, but he's only human. I mean, can execute his pitches. You're going to get hit at this level. So sometimes having that 3rd pitch can really be a help. Fastball change. That changeup's at 88 to 90 miles an hour. Amazing how you can get a lot of swing and misses from it.
Right to Moustakas, so the shift paid off there. That is normally a line drive in between 3rd and short. And Moustakas was plugging up that hole. 1 away.
Just like Moose practices in spring training with the pitching machine set up in front of him, and he gets his little small glove and sets that thing at about 90, and he stands in front of it and just reacts on those quick line shots. Ball gets on you in a hurry. I bet the hit speed on that was probably over 100.
Yadier Molina is 0 for 3 tonight. Well hit to right field. Rios slides. He caught it. Alex Rios with a great sliding play across the line and quickly approaching that concrete side wall.
Rios was playing him towards the line anyway. He had an idea, and then he just got a great jump on contact and slides in there safely with a ball in his glove. Excellent play.
So the Cardinals could very easily have 2 on and nobody out. Instead, 2 out and nobody on. Randall Grichuk has a 2-hit night, which includes a 2-run home run that tied the game in the 2nd inning. Royals will have Rios, Infante, and Dyson in the top of the 9th.
You're talking about a guy stepping up. Well, Holiday was out. It's been this kid right here. Grichuk's been getting a lot of playing time. That's some nice numbers.
1st-round pick of the Angels. There's the former Lee Summit West Titan, Trevor Rosenthal, getting ready for the 9th inning. That'll be back into the crowd. Matt Carpenter's natural position is third, but the Cardinals used him at second base. And when Colton Wong was ready, the Cardinals are able to move Carpenter to third and then trade David Freese to the Angels. They needed a third baseman, and they got a couple of outfielders in that deal. The Cardinals did, Grichuk and Borges. We just found out earlier tonight that David Freese is going on the disabled list with a broken finger. Now the ball gets away from Salvi. Stretched by Hosmer into foul ground. So 3 good defensive plays keep the game at 4-2 through 8 innings.
Moose. Quick reaction, nice play. Rios got some dirt on him and made that play up against that wall there. And we just saw the goal to gold, Salvi to Haas.
On Fox Sports 1 with highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around, weeknights at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Lee Summit native and Lee Summit West graduate Trevor Rosenthal graduated in 2008. He has a 9 ERA, and the league hitting .444 against him over his last 5 games. He has 1 blown save over that stretch. And he'll get Rios, Infante, and Dyson in the 9th inning.
Jump on that fastball. 95 to 98. It's a cutter type fastball and a changeup.
He can really bring it, and that fastball's at 96 miles an hour. Cardinals got him in the 21st round out of Cowley County in Arkansas City, and that is bounced up the middle. Wong, backhand play, safe. The Royals have the leadoff man on in the 9th inning.
That's all you got to do. Look out over that plate for that fastball. He's going to give you one. And his cutter may not be cutting like he wants it to. That was one of the reasons why his ERA has been so high in his last 5 outings. Good hustle by Rios. 3rd infield hit on the night by the Royals.
Last time Alex Rios had a 3-hit game 3.5 months ago. April 12th.
He's playing. Like to see it. Defensively too. What a nice play he made.
96 and high. Infante is 0 for 3 so far. Well, How many rallies did we have in the Pittsburgh series that involved Rios, Infante, and Dyson? And here they are in the 9th. At home, it was Infante, Rios, and Dyson. Infante had a good swing. Royals have out-hit the Cardinals 9-7. But the Cardinals have 2 home runs to the Royals 0. Line toward right center field. That's going to go deep. Rios will score. Infante wants 3. He is in with a triple, and the tying run is at third base with nobody out.
You called it, Rhino. When you're hot, that's a beautiful thing, the bottom of that order. Rios, Infante, and now Dyson. And here the Royals fans here at Busch Stadium erupt. It's nice now. They got a good shot at getting back in it here. They're in it now. They got the tie and run. Infield's got to come in. Infante splits the gap on a fastball that's right down the middle of the plate. 21st double. Oh, excuse me. That was a triple, his 3rd.
And listen to the "Let's Go Royals" chants. Dyson trying to repeat what he did last night. Get a run in the late innings with a bunt.
This guy, Rosenthal, though, he's straight fastball, and it's not an easy pitch to get on top of when it's thrown up there. Dyson might just want to try to keep a good level swing like he did against Garrett Cole.
Showing bunt again. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, Cole, what was that, 97?
It was up.
Dyson hit into right field.
Right. I want to try to do the same thing with the infield in here, but Gerard Dyson has some nice skills that he has to offer, and that bunting is one of them. The infield in. Fonte, same situation, too. Look for that fastball. Nope.
No swing, 3-0. The only position player left for Ned Yost outside of catcher Drew Butera is Dusty Coleman. So he will hit for Kelvin Herrera. Dyson takes a 4-pitch walk, and now the go-ahead run is on with nobody out.
Can't ask for a better time and an opportunity to get your first big league hit.
And here comes Mike Matheny. Well, this was the risk that Ned Yost was willing to take when the Royals batted back in the 4th inning. Now, Chris Young had given up 4 runs in his 3 innings. And Royals saw a scoring opportunity. They had runners at 1st and 3rd and 2 down. And Ned Yost went to Kendrys Morales, who came very close to getting the job done. He lined to the warning track in center field. But the risk was that you wouldn't have Kendrys Morales in the later innings. So he would be hitting here. But what a spot for Dusty Coleman.
You know, and really, he can't pick a better pitcher. With a fastball, he knows he's going to get a fastball to hit. He's trying to stay up the middle with it with the infield in. Try to just meet it. Don't try to do too much. And let Gerard Dyson rip the bag off. Let him go ahead.
He's going. Coleman takes inside, and now the go-ahead run is at second base with nobody out.
Makes the hit even better.
They're going to call that defensive indifference. They were not holding Dyson at first.
I can see the deep breathing by Coleman. Focus. Stay short to the ball with your swing. Trying to do too much.
Got the call. He didn't hit the target. Rosenthal has very little command of his pitches. He was supposed to pitch that outside. He missed, but it was still over the plate.
And there was some pretty good cutting action on it.
Hit foul.
Rosenthal does have 4 wild pitches. There's a Royals fan that can't sit down.
Struck him out. Fastball at 97. It is just out number 1.
Now he stayed short with his swing. Just a little bit overmatched. And that's a tough job for Coleman. I don't remember the last time he got an at-bat. Try to come in and face a closer like that. He knew he was going to get fastballs. His timing wasn't quite there.
Alcides Escobar was 0 for 4, all against John Lackey. 2 strikeouts and 2 groundouts. Takes a strike up and in the strike zone in 97. Escobar 0 for 1 all time against this pitcher. Or maybe it was up and out of the strike zone.
It looked up to me.
Outside, 1-1. Royals with the run here in the 9th inning. Now plus 47 this year from the 7th inning on. They have outscored their opponents by 47 runs from the 7th inning on. This is where the Royals many times are at their best. Fouled it off of his foot. 1-2.
If you're closing games and you have a fastball only, you're going to get hit. He's got to be able to mix in a secondary pitch here and there just to keep these hitters honest. Got a cutter. The cutter works effectively. He's got a changeup too, but haven't seen it.
There you go.
There was his changeup. Yadier Molina doing a great job there of catching it. Oh man, I'll tell you, there was a small opening underneath that glove. Just was able to knock it down.
Staying alive. And if the ball gets past the catcher here, there is not a lot of foul territory behind home plate, and directly behind home plate is a brick wall. That's something Infante has to be aware of. If it gets by Molina, he could get a good bounce. And there's not an automatic run if it gets by the catcher. Grounded to third. Play is to the plate. Infante's out. Dyson to third. And Escobar's at first.
Escobar just topped it. Yadier Molina, he looked quickly to first base after the tag and decided to put it in his pocket. And now you got first and third, and you got 2 of your best base runners out there on the base. Does Ned Yost attempt a double steal in a situation like this with a game on the line, 2 outs, first and third?
The book says, if you go by the book, that you go for the win on the road and you play for a tie at home because you always have the last at bat. So if the Royals go by the book, then they would take a chance here and try and get Escobar to second base. So if Moustakas gets a base hit, the Royals take the lead.
How about if Moose just takes him out of the ballpark?
1 for 3 tonight. He is 0 for 2 against Rosenthal, and Rosenthal struck him out both times. Six runs were scored in the first 3 innings, and then 5 straight scoreless innings, and now the Royals have 1 in the 9th. There goes Escobar, and Moustakas swings and pops it up. Carpenter runs to the side wall, but it's into the 5th row. Rios singled, Infante tripled to score Rios. Dyson walked. He went to second on indifference. So the Royals made it a 1-run game, and they had runners at second and third and nobody out. And now first and third with 2 down. Escobar runs again, and the pitch is up and away. So a base hit could put the Royals in front. And once again, indifference. They were not holding Escobar.
No, but that's Matheny just showing the confidence he has in Rosenthal, even though he's been a little bit shaky in his last several outings.
Challenge him with a fastball at 98.
That's the pitch that he had on the park last night, but this had a little bit more hair on it.
Started to go, no swing.
Carpenter, the third baseman, is way off the bag. Dyson has bluffed and tried to get the attention of Rosenthal down there at third base. He's had a couple of breaks home like he's coming, but that's a long way off for Carpenter. Dyson could get a huge initial lead.
Molina couldn't hang on. Might have gotten his top of his right leg, maybe even his right hand or arm. Grounded out to Wong. Going to be a close play, and the Cardinals hang on by their fingernails. Now the Royals fall a run short. But they have the Cardinals and their fans sweating down to the very last pitch. 4-3 is the final. We'll be right back.